In today's English lesson, you are going to be writing the first two paragraphs for your refugee narrative. So think back, have a look over your plan that you did yesterday, looking over the description that you decided to include and how you have sort of created your character. And you're going to be using that in your writing today, obviously putting it into a structured paragraph with a lot more detail. So the waggle we looked at yesterday, I've broken down into the two paragraphs to go through it. So paragraph 1, I have started with being stateless is like being an alien. Stateless means that you are homeless. So starting off like I've done with these first couple of sentences, I think really hooks the reader in, rather than just going straight into my name is whatever you've chosen your name to be. So you could magpie that, you could look at synonyms for stateless. You could get some short, snappy sentences here that when the reader first reads it, they think, yes, I need to read on now. You're then going to follow that up with introducing yourself. Remember, it has to be in past tense and first person because you are being the refugee in this story, the refugee that you created on Monday on your identity card. So you need to introduce yourself, tell the reader where you're fleeing from and why it was unsafe for you to stay there. And if you did continue living there, what would happen to you? This is where you can get your detail in. So obviously I've mentioned that I'm fleeing Syria because of the war. If I was to stay there, I would face prison, and this is what prison would look like, and I could not allow this to happen to me. This should be different for everyone because you're all fleeing different countries for different reasons. So if you're fleeing a country because of racial discrimination, for example, what would happen to you if you were to stay in that country? Would your family be in danger? Would you have threatening behaviour made towards you? Also, if it is about the discrimination part, think back to what you know about World War II and the racial discrimination against the Jews. So use that knowledge as well to help you with this narrative that we're writing. Your next paragraph, paragraph 2, you're taking the reader right back to when you packed your rucksack. Remember, a rucksack is just a bag with 2 straps that you have on your back. So it is small, it's not a huge suitcase. So when you're thinking of what you want to pack, think about the necessities. So if you're about to flee a country, you wouldn't spend hours packing, deciding on what you're choosing. You would just quickly throw some things in your bag, getting ready to leave. And the things that you decide to pack, they need to be useful. So you wouldn't pack your best dress, your nicest shoes. They need to be useful on your journey. As well as clothing items, I would like you to think about a possession that holds a lot of meaning to you to pack. So in my waggle, I've decided to pack a photograph of my mother who I have not seen since I was 15. Again, just by putting in that sentence gives extra information. The possession could be an item of jewellery, it could be a family heirloom that's been passed down to you that you need to treasure and keep. It could be a good luck charm that you wouldn't leave the house without. But obviously tell the reader why you're deciding to pack that item, and again describe that item. So that's where you were getting your two-way sentences, for example. When you're then going on to listing the items of clothing you're packing, again, don't get carried away. We don't need 10 pairs of jeans, jumper, 6 tops, etc. So just be selective on what you're listing. I've put parentheses in there by saying who knitted the jumper just to get in the year 6 features. And as well as that, how are you going to describe them? So I don't necessarily mean you need to tell me the colour of the jumper and the colour of your socks. What I mean by that is, can you describe your bag using a simile like I have done? Soon my bag was beginning to bulge like a spot ready to burst. Could you personify your bag where you could say your bag was struggling to breathe because it was that full? So I don't want these paragraphs, especially this one, to just sound like a list that you're just writing about. You need to get in all the detail, all the description, and the range of openers as well. Thinking back to the year 6 features that we expect, such as the colon when you're starting a list. We know semicolons can be used in replace of certain conjunctions, parenthesis with brackets, hyphenated word when you're using rucksack, and getting in some feelings and emotions there as you're packing your bag. Maybe you're packing your bag in the middle of the night where no one can hear you. It's deadly silent, so you know you have to be extra quiet. So just try and build up that tension and suspense ready for when you leave that house and you continue on with the rest of your journey, which we'll be looking at towards the end of the week. So feel free to read over these waggles again. Please use your plan from yesterday, and I look forward to reading the first 2 paragraphs of your narrative when you submit them on Purple Mash.